What's up, Jets fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Mock Draft Monday. We don't have many Mock Draft Mondays left. It's just going to be this week, which is April 14th, and then next week, April 21st. And those are our last two Mock Draft Mondays before the 2025 NFL Draft. I am super excited to get these last two mock drafts to you. So we're going to do this one a little bit different today. I also apologize if I do sound a little strange. I am a little bit under the weather. The allergies are kicking my ass so far in April here, but we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to do it off rip. I'm just going to, usually I plan out my picks and I run a couple simulations to make sure that these videos go as smoothly as possible. But at this point, with all the reports that we've been hearing, anything is really possible right now. So that's how we're going to do it. But before we dive into this mock draft Monday for the New York Jets, I just want to let you guys know I did create a second channel, and that is a draft central channel. So it's called the Draft Hub and it's at the NFL Draft Hub. I will link my new channel in the description below. That doesn't mean that I'm not uploading draft content here on this channel. It'll just be solely for the Jets. So all draft content, player profiles, diamonds in the rough, all that kind of stuff, mock drafts for every single team. That's going to be on the Draft Hub. So I will link that new channel below for 2025 and beyond. Thank you so much for the support if you do go over and subscribe. And let's get into this mock draft. All right, so we're sitting here at number 7, and Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, and Will Campbell are all off the board. Will Campbell at number 6 is quite an interesting choice for the Las Vegas Raiders, but either way, I feel like this is a pretty much 6 for 6 combination of how these top 6 picks are going to go for the most part. So we're sitting here at number 7, and there are 3 players on the board that the Jets have expressed significant interest in if they were on the board. We explored the Ashton Jeanty route last week. I don't think I'm going to go down that way again. We have Tyler Warren and we have Armand Membou on the board. These 2 players are the 2 players that the Jets are linked to the most, that have done the most research on these players, have done the most extensive work on. So that's probably going to be our pick, one of these 2 guys. But in the way that I am greedy, I see that the Saints do want to slightly move up. Now, the way that I'm thinking, I think the Saints want to move up so they could snag Armand Membou from underneath our noses. But I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to trade back to pick up an extra top 75 pick. I feel like that's a very necessary move to make for the Jets here. There are 3 players on the board that I'd be very happy with. To pick up an extra top 75 pick, I'm in a very, very strong tight end class. I'm hoping that Armand Membou will still be there, number 9, but if he's not, I'll gladly Warren. So we're going to offer this trade. We're going to get number 71 in return for moving back 2 spots. I think that's a fantastic move to make, to be honest with you. And we're going to see that Ashton Jeanty and Jahad Campbell are the 2 players that do go off the board. So now at number 9, we still have the chance to get Armand Membou or Tyler Warren. And I think I'm not going to chance it again. I do think Armand Membou is the pick if he's here on the board. I think he was the pick at 7. I just wanted to be greedy and pick up an extra 3rd round pick, an extra top 75 pick for this offense. Listen, Justin Fields is here for at least a year. A new regime. You're building a new culture. We're not necessarily in a win now mode. Do I want Tyler Warren? Absolutely. Do I think solidifying the offensive line makes the most sense for this new regime and for any young quarterback that comes into this system, or potentially Justin Fields if he lights the world on fire and he gets an extension? Absolutely. I think running the football, solidifying the offensive line is going to be the name of the game for this new regime of Darren Moogie and Aaron Glenn. I think that's the way that we're going to go. We're going to pick Armand Membou here at number 9. We're going to leave Tyler Warren on the board, unfortunately, but this is a really deep tight end class, and I know Warren is the best of the lot. Maybe even Mason Taylor if he's still on the board. So we're going to take Armand Membou. We are going to solidify this as a top 10 offensive line unit in the NFL. So we're sitting here at number 42 after we took Armand Membou. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not super in love with the way that the board looks right now. Omar Norman-Lott is more of a 3-tech pass rushing defensive tackle. We have that in Quinnen Williams. It's not a necessity for us here. Trey Amos would be nice. Benjamin Morrison. Jaden Higgins as well. I'm just not totally in love with a lot of these fits here. I like Higgins a lot. I think that he could be that prototypical X receiver where then you could put Garrett Wilson, G5, anywhere that you want on the offensive formation. Kevin Winston would be a great choice here. I do think he is a top 40 player, but I don't know if the Jets spend, especially after signing Andre Cisco to that 1 year contract. I don't know if they go this route, to be quite honest with you, and then leave tight end, defensive line, and wide receiver for the next three picks. I don't think defensive line is as pressing of a need as we think, as us fans think it is. I think with the 3 or 4 signings that the Jets made, they're willing to stopgap that issue. I think that they would be looking to maybe pick 110. I don't know. I'm really at a loss here. I'm kind of torn. The Denver Broncos want to trade up 9 spots. Maybe I could sneak that 85 in there. Maybe I can give up maybe 110, and maybe I can get that. Move down slightly, but then move up a bunch of spots. I think that's what I'm going to do, to be honest with you. I think I'd feel a lot more comfortable with that. So we're going to make this trade down. I know that seeing Jack Bash on the board and Jaden Higgins and Xavier Watts and all those guys are going to excite a lot of people, but I'm trying to think as logically as possible. And if we can get this slight trade down, we'll move down 9 spots, but then we'll move up 25 spots from the 4th round back to the 3rd round. We'll have 3 third-round picks. I'm more than comfortable making this trade. All right, at 51, that really didn't clear anything for us, to be quite honest with you. If you guys were wondering what the picks were, it was Jack Bash, Xavier Watts, Azariah Thomas, Caleb Johnson, Brady Swinson, Donovan Jackson, Siobhan Revel, and Carson Swessinger, and Jack Sawyer. But at number 51, I think we're going to go with Jaden Higgins here. I spoke about him before. I think that he could be really good in this offense. And we traded down, and he's still here. I wanted a little bit more clarity on the board, but you can't go wrong with Jaden Higgins, an absolute freak of an athlete, 6'3", 6'4", depending on what measurements you're looking at. A fantastic vertical player as well. He's going to be a versatile weapon in this offense, and we're going to take him at number 51 here. So, as I just said, I don't want to take him at 42. We're going to take him at 51 instead. All right, we spoke about Kevin Winston before. We have 2 picks in these next 3 picks here, and I'm going to take Kevin Winston. He's someone that's coming off of a major injury, but if he was healthy and played the entire season, he probably could have been up there as safety number 1 with Malachi Starks and Nick Emanwari. He's a fantastic player, a great overall tackler. He could play in the box. He could play single high. He could play all over, and I think that's exactly the type of commanding safety that Steve Wilks and Aaron Glenn are going to look for in their new defense. So Kevin Winston Jr. is going to be the pick here for me at 71, and then we're going to come right around at number 73 here. Femi Oladejo is a very interesting pick here for me. The Jets don't know if I'm going to go that route this early, maybe at 85 if he's still there. This pick, I'm looking at either a defensive tackle or I'm looking at a tight end. Yeah, Mason Taylor is still here. I think that's going to be the pick. In reality, I think Terrence Ferguson is a little bit more realistic at 73, but there's a lot of people that watch these videos that don't take realism into consideration. I'm sorry, and that's just the way that it is. So for their sake, I will be taking Mason Taylor here at number 73. So let's take a look at our 3 picks so far. Armand Membou, Jaden Higgins, Kevin Winston. That's a phenomenal first 3. Then we're going to look to solidify the defensive tackle position here at number 85. So we're going to take Mason Taylor here at number 73, and then we're going to see what we can get at 85. This is tough. So I was hoping that Alfred Collins would be here at number 85. He is not, but Jamari Caldwell is, and this is a very interesting case of, kind of being overshadowed. Caldwell was overshadowed by Derek Harmon. I think that the Oregon defensive tackle duo was probably one of the best in the entire country. Caldwell is such a well-rounded defensive tackle. He is a run stuffer to the max. He also brings a lot as a pass rusher, a 9.3% pass rush win rate this past season. He's just been super solid the last 3 years at Oregon. 6'4", 313 pounds. This is a player that I really do think could mesh very well with Quinnen Williams and jump into immediate starting position here as a 3rd-round pick. Ty Robinson is also interesting down the board, but Caldwell brings whereas Ty Robinson is a little bit more one-sided, where he's a little bit more of a pass rush specialist. Caldwell is a well-rounded player and a run stuffer first and foremost. And if you watched any Jets football last year, that's exactly where the problem was, being gashed in the middle of the defense basically every single game by the opposing team's running attack. So we're going to take Jamari Caldwell here. We're going to solidify that defensive line. Femi Oladejo is still here on the board at number 85. I was hoping maybe I can get a slight trade down and pick up another, pick within the next 15 or 20, but I just don't see it happening. And I think that even though we do need an edge rusher, and that's probably where I'm going to go with one of my next picks, I think that solidifying the interior of the defensive line is far more important. So to take a look at our picks up until this point here, Amon Membou, Jaden Higgins, Kevin Winston Jr., Mason Taylor, and Jamari Caldwell are our picks. We did take a slight trade down in the second round to move up back into the third. So that's why we have top 85 picks. But then we had a little bit of a gap there, about 65 picks between, or 60 picks, sorry, between round 3 and round 5. So here's what I'm looking at, and I'm not going to lie, I really wanted to add to the edge rushers here. I'm just not in love with any of these guys at this point at 145. Johnny Walker, Ethan Downs, Colin Oliver could be guys a little bit later that I'd be interested in, maybe even Ja Joyner or RJ Oben. I'm not interested in it. I'm not reaching for someone here at number 145 just for the sake of taking a player. But what I will do is I know Kyle Williams, RJ Mickens are on the board. I firmly do not believe that Kyle Williams or RJ Mickens will be on the board at this point. That's just incredibly unrealistic in my opinion. Not going to take him here. So we're going to look to the interior of the offensive line because you don't look now, but the interior of the offensive line is going to need upgrades relatively soon, or at least players that are going to be under contract. AVT, his contract is coming up. John Simpson has one more year on his contract, I believe, after this season, or it was a 2-year deal. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's either after this year or after next year. He is a free agent as well. And the Jets are going to have to pay a lot of their top players. They're going to have to pay Jermaine Johnson. They're going to have to pay Sauce Gardner. They're going to have to pay Garrett Wilson, maybe Brees Hall. I think he is the odd man out, but they're going to have to pay a lot of their premium players here. And Luke Kandra is on the board here. Kandra is someone that could play in the center. He could play center. He could play either guard position as well. He's a fantastic overall player that I think is really slept on in this interior offensive line class. And don't be surprised if I double dip at the guard position around pick maybe 186 or 207. I'll take another guard here because seriously, interior offensive line is going to be a massive need for the Jets sooner rather than later. And I think since this regime is so hell bent on building the offensive line, they're going to see that and they're going to take action now while the players are available. So Kandra is the best of the lot here, in my opinion. Cooper is a good player. Monheim is a good player as well. Connor Colby is someone that could play tackle as well, maybe a swing. But I think we're going to take Kandra. We're going to stick to the interior of the offensive line. We're going to take him at 145. At number 162, I'm going to take a corner here. This is the cornerback class, or I'm sorry, the cornerback depth for the Jets is relatively okay. I would have loved to see them re-sign Brandon Eccles, but I think a replacement for Brandon Eccles is, or that type of role that Eccles played, where he was that stand-in corner. I think that is a necessary replacement here. And Robert Longerbeam is someone that the Jets have expressed serious interest in throughout the course of the draft process. He is a local guy as well, from Rutgers University. I think he makes a lot of sense here. He's someone that has great teach tape, someone that has played great against the likes of Marvin Harrison Jr. against Ohio State. So he's someone that definitely has a lot of talent here. Down the board at 162, if you could find a Brandon Eccles type replacement, I feel like you have to pull the trigger. And I feel like that's exactly what Robert Longerbeam can be and can do for the Jets. A little bit of an older prospect. He is 24 years old already, but we're not asking him to step into a starting role right away and be that player. I think he's going to be more of that cornerback 3, cornerback 4 on the depth chart that steps in when needed, and he's going to do a great job. And I'm going to take Robert Longerbeam here at number 162. At 186, I'm going to take a chance on Ethan Downs here. He's someone that really lit the combine on fire as an uber athletic pass rusher. 4.5 sacks this past year for the Oklahoma Sooners. Someone that actually has an 85.9 true pass rush set grade. So that's one of the tops in the country, believe it or not. Someone who's also really good against the run. He sets the edge quite well. I believe he did a 13.9 run stop grade off the edge, which is phenomenal. So really a diamond in the rough type of player here that I feel like this regime could squeeze the most out of. There's some uncertainties on the defensive line in terms of edge rushers behind Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson. There's really a lot of question marks. So getting someone like Ethan Downs that could come in and be a day 3 contributor, I think is really important. So we're going to take him here at 186. And then we have one more pick at 207. So I know RJ Mickens and Ty Robinson are still on the board. I don't think those two players are really going to be here at this point in the draft, but there is a player that's on the board that I love a lot, and that's Craig Woodson. Craig Woodson he didn't get a lot of the spotlight as one of the two great secondary players for Cal this past year, You think of Noel Williams as someone who really lit the world on fire, 7 interceptions. He was fantastic this past year. But Craig Woodson is a hard-nosed, great tackling, run-stuffing safety, and that's something that I think that this regime is really going to look for. I know they signed Andre Cisco. It's still a positional group that past Cisco's 1 year is going to need some long-term development. And Woodson is a player that I think could be a great yin to Kevin Winston Jr.'s yang and really complement each other well in the long term. So Woodson is going to be a big contributor, whether that be on special teams, whether that be in run support, 3 safety looks. I think he's going to be a great player at the NFL level, regardless of what team that he gets drafted to. But here we're going to take him at 207. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my second to last mock draft Monday, 7-round New York Jets mock draft. So a lot to unpack here. We moved back 2 spots in the first round. We picked up number 71 overall, excuse me. We took our mom Membou in the first round. We took Jaden Higgins in round 2 after a slight trade down and a trade up. We took Kevin Winston Jr. here at number 71, Mason Taylor at 73, Jamari Caldwell at number 85, Luke Kandra at 145, Robert Longerbeam at 162, Ethan Downs at 186, and Craig Woodson at 207. This is actually probably my highest graded mock draft Monday for the Jets up until this point. So that's super cool to see. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Please check out my second draft only content channel if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed and hope I see you